Hello everyone and no one, and welcome to another Rotten's Guns. Today I decided to bring out some revolvers, do some revolver stuff just because I think they're fun. I have no idea if I'm even in the thing, so I'm just going to come over here and sit down since these things have actual things. And I thought I'd bust out my Chiappa Rhinos. Now, normally I actually have the grip on my 5-inch on my Snubnose, and the grip that's on my Snubnose is on my 5-inch, but I want to see how it was on this one, and I actually really like it. And I might be looking for a different grip to try on this one, since I've tried a few different ones. I believe this is a 3D printed one. That was actually pretty nice. It does extend your finger out of how far you actually have to reach for. But I got some different ways to try things, so I'm probably actually going to be changing out of this sweater into a different one, because it's a bit thinner, and trying to shoot with a chest rig and see how filming does for that. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, it's been recording, and I didn't realize that I apparently got it recording. So, I'll change. Alright, so. Okay, so out at the range, you can kind of see what I'm looking at. I have no idea how this is actually going to go, but I have some 38 specials in here, and I need to clean that again. It looks like it's got something. And I haven't even shot this in forever, so we're going to see how I shoot, pull some different ones. Might just grab the little tripod again. Might have to try the head mount I have, see if that works any better. Okay, so had a bit of a soft primer strike, or a light primer strike. Oh, you son. And then, yeah. People say revolvers don't jam or have malfunctions. Yes, they can. All right. Yeah, I'm going to switch to the tripod. All right, so I got 6 rounds of 357 in this and 6 more in my pocket. And see how bad I shoot this from this distance. I think I kind of had it figured out. Yep, so on that one, I accidentally short stroked the trigger, causing it to overskip a cylinder. That's always fun. That's why I'm probably going to look at a different set of these grips. They look cool. They're kind of like the Mateba at home grips, because most people know the Chiappa Revolvers were based off the Mateba Unica 6 slightly, and also more towards like the 2006 Mateba 2006M. All right, let's see how I do this one. Holy crap, I can't shoot crap. I think I'm super low, just to double check. Yeah, the finger is stretched out so far of trying to get it, so let's switch to the Snubnose and see how things go. All right, so got the Snubnose revolver. I didn't grab an extra 6 rounds. I'm gonna do that real quick. And see how bad I do with this one. I've only been shooting them in double action only because, well, it's kind of fun. Unlike some people, I don't necessarily hate double action. Actually, I'm just going to set this here because all I had was 12 rounds left in that thing. And grab all 12. So I'm going to shoot freaking 18 rounds. Now with this grip, this massive grip that really can't be seen, I'll bring it up here and kind of show it, do a little desktop thing later on or something. It's actually a Hogue grip. Lets you get a really nice firm grip on it and doesn't extend your finger out so much or pull your hand back so much. Yeah, okay, that was 12. Or 12. That was 6. Oh, and this thing's wanting to struggle. Probably need to clean out the cylinder again. I think all the stuff for that's at my folks' house. Yeah, because for those who shoot revolvers, especially if you have a 357 Magnum revolver, and you shoot 38 specials through it, you can get a buildup along the side since the 38 specials cartridge is a bit shorter. Which, when you stick a 357 Magnum in, can make it a little hard to do. Let's do this one single action. And I missed. I am probably shooting super low. Or I don't know where. Yeah. I tend to try to shoot this gun double action more just because it's double action isn't as bad as some people think. You can stage a double action trigger. I mean, granted, I'm not saying that you should go with a revolver over a semi-auto. The semi-auto is going to be a lot better in the long run for a lot of things. And yeah, people will say revolvers don't fail, except for when they do, they're catastrophic. Now that one I didn't flip over or do a short stroke, which I'm normally more prone to do with a revolver, especially with these ones. I just had a light primer strike. Fun guns though. I need to work with them some more. So for my rhinos, I did get these considering the fact I really wanted to get a Mateba Unica 6 way back in the day. And for anyone who's a fan of those, because you could get them in 357 Magnum or 44 Magnum or the very rare 454 Casull, knows that they are, not made anymore and extremely freaking expensive. Now, I haven't had any issues other than short stroking them, which is a user error, not a mechanical error. And that's when you go to pull the trigger and then you don't let it out far enough. And of course, when I try to do it, I can't actually do it on camera. So we'll see if I can do this. Yeah. Yeah. I can't do it on demand, but if you're trying to do your dry fire practice and you're going really fast, you can end up short stroking one. Yeah. Can I do it on this one? Okay, apparently not. I can do it when I'm not trying to, but when I actually am trying to remember where I can hit this at, I can't. So going into the whole thing, like I said, other than the short stroking, I've never had an issue with this. I wish someone would go through and make a front night sight for these, but apparently that's not in the cards because the rhinos aren't as popular and they are a bit pricier. They're not as much as a Mateba because, again, they're discontinued, extremely hard to find. This one, my 5-inch, was a Gen 1, and the only thing I had done to it was change out the rear sight to a Gen 2 sight, which is the fiber optics. And then I ended up having an issue to where I took it to the range one day while I was still in the Air Force, and I put it in single action. And then the trigger would free float. Like there was something there, but it wasn't actually having the linkage to where I could release the trigger or release the hammer. So I was able to kind of toss it in the dirt, it set itself, and then I was able to fire it. And then now mind you as well, when it would do that, I could not open the cylinder. Wow, I'm a little off on this. So it ended up happening when I was trying to explain this to my gun dealer at the time down in New Mexico. And I left the gun with him to see if he could contact Chiappa to see if he could have something done. While I was deployed at the time, because that would have been my second deployment, so 2013. So it shows you how long I've had these. Unfortunately, because of other things, he didn't really have too much of a chance, and they said it would have to go through the actual owner of them. So when I got back to New Mexico, went through a few things, and then was able to go, okay, contact them after I had to move and whatnot. And was like, all right, so this is my problem. Like, you can send it into, like, have you done anything else? Have you opened up the plate, tried to mess with the internals? I'm like, the only thing I've done is change the rear sight, which doesn't do anything with the internals. And yes, I had to pay for the shipping to them. And luckily, they were to give me 2 work order forms, and I could ship both guns so they could do a once over on my Snubnose Rhino, as well as the one that had issues. And some people get mad because I had to pay for the shipping there, and they're like, you shouldn't have to do that. Well, that's all I had to pay for. Now, wow, my brain farted there for a second. So they said it could take up to 3 months. So after about a month, I did contact them being like, hey, was just curious, where you at? Have you seen what's wrong? And they were like, we don't even know yet. It hasn't even gotten into the system. And then like 2 weeks later, these got delivered back to my house. Now, some people might say, well, wait a minute. How could you have a gun delivered to your house? Were you an FFL? No, I was not. But I was the owner of the firearms that had bought them from a legal FFL, had contacted the manufacturer of said firearms directly, and had sent it back to the manufacturer for an issue, which they then sent it back to the owner. That is something that's illegal to do in majority of places, and it was in New Mexico. The only ones you really can't send it through is the USPS. So I was able to send up both of these guns. They basically got all new internals put in them. I know this one did, because they were like, yes, it had Gen 1 internals. Apparently, one of the parts was either subpar or at the bare bones bottom of the QA allowed to go. And since then, I've had no issue with it other than, again, the me issue. And like I said, you look at, holding this with this one, my finger extends out pretty far, and I can actually get my finger in on there pretty easily. Grab this one, and my finger doesn't go out near as far, which can be nice for double action because it puts it right where I want to, but it's trying to figure this thing out. Otherwise, yeah, they're fun to shoot. I probably should shoot more, but past couple days of trying to get to the range have been a bust. It's October in Michigan. I go to a rod and gun club for, that I'm a member of, to use their range, and I'm not going to argue with a bunch of people and try to film while they're trying to do stuff. Majority of people the first day I tried to come here were probably sighting in their hunting rifles, and there's like a half a dozen people. Other one was a couple of old timers doing stuff for an egg shoot, which for those of you who don't know what that is, they will take either a center fire or rim fire and be at about 100 yards, and they have to shoot an egg. And they actually get like 10 eggs to shoot. And there are people who travel for these competitions. And they will spend thousands of dollars on a 22 LR rifle to specifically shoot those. So people do weird things. I, one of these days, got to get my ass into a pistol competition because I just think it'd be fun. And I really want to see how bad I actually suck at, shooting under actual simulated pressure systems. But I mean, otherwise going out to shoot revolvers, I've got probably close to 1,000 rounds minimum through each of these. And other than the one manufacturer issue, which Chiappa was able to help me out with, it just took a while to be able to get there. And like I said, it cost me the whole price of having to ship both of these to them. That I think they're fun revolvers. They're not going to be the greatest revolvers in that. They are nice considering the fact that the Snubnose 200 DS actually has a 2-inch barrel. Granted, the forcing cone is probably like 3/8 of an inch long or something. So, but you get more than your standard Snubnose, which is usually like sub 2 inches. It's like 1.8 something. Like only my Smith & Wesson 640 is the other Snubnose I have that has an actual 2-inch barrel. Like the one that I did with a joke, my 638. This one has a sub 2-inch barrel. So if you actually look where the cylinders are, the barrel is actually shorter because it doesn't go out as far, obviously. Yeah. I think I might make one more video. I think I'm just going to bust out my my Dan Wesson 715. Now that's a fun gun. So, and I just kicked over my water. Connect. Have a good one, everyone, and have a happy Halloween.